Guys, you thought I ended at episode 100? You're tripping. We are getting on to episode 101. This is Fumble Podcast. I'm your host, Pejdomaniac. You know where to find me on all platforms. Pejdomaniac, spelled just like that. P-E-J-T-H-E-M-A-N-I-A-C. I have been called on stage as Pajama the Mechanic because people can't read, and they're a little racist, but that's okay. I did fix their cars, even though I have no experience, and they're still at the venue, so it's good. We got a special episode today. We got a film that a couple of my friends here are working on. It's called By the Grape of God. Please give that handle a follow on Instagram. Is it anywhere else as well?
No, it's just on Instagram at this time.
Okay, cool. And that voice you hear, that's my good friend that we met through improv online, and now we're real because we're meeting in person. Zat Sean is his handle. Sean is his name. And then also follow C Donston and OK Connor _. Before we go any further, Iran is still on fire, okay? So please keep that in your thoughts. Keep amplifying the voices of the people in Iran. That government is literally going down with shooting bullets. So then they've just put more mandates on the hijab laws, and they're doing all this behind closed doors because they've shut the internet down. So we know this because there are people who can get around with VPNs and send out footage. But they need our help. Also, I'm donning a retail.therapy.clinic shirt. Go ahead and give them a follow. They're nice enough to help me out with this shirt. This is anthracite is the color. I learned that when I ordered it. And I didn't know that's just another shade of gray. But now we know. But it's a beautiful shirt. They have shirts. They have polos. They have hoodies, hats. Follow them on Instagram. Okay, without further ado, let's talk to Kevin and Sean. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to redo this one. Whatever happened with the last take.
I know. I burned the last one because in a protest, I just threw it at the pro-regimists.
Okay.
But no, I'm kidding. No, we're doing it over because we're going to do it better. And that's the goal with Fumble Podcast. And any project that I continue to pursue, I want it to be the best version of myself and anyone involved. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Kevin.
Yeah, so let's see. Right now I'm a sports writer by trade, but trying to make screenwriting happen instead.
Yeah.
I like sports writing, but screenwriting and comedy writing are kind of my passion.
Comedy?
Yeah, yes, the film is a comedy.
I know.
Yeah.
That's a good segue.
I'm not a stand-up. I don't have stage presence or anything like that. But yeah,
You do,
But
man.
I like writing things that people might be able to make funny when they act it out.
Listen, that takes a whole talent. That's its own lane of talent because I struggle writing. So I write and then my ADHD kicks in.
Well, Pej, he's being modest because he's a talented writer. He's probably gonna shrug this off, but our new director Colmcille Donston and our AD Connor Austin Jones.
Yeah.
Even they're in the same pool where it's a lot of Richard Linklater meets Mike Judge, and I personally like to say a little sprinkles of Seth Rogen here and there, but he's got such a brilliant knack for writing in general, let alone such a strong pull in comedy, and we've seen such an incredible response from it so far.
Why couldn't you say that?
Because he's too modest.
No,
He spent too much time in Chicago.
Chicago. Okay, is that where you're from? Chicago?
No, but that's where we met for college. I'm from Orange County, not far from here.
That's why you like
yeah.
the Lakers. I don't know. I know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I was repping the Kings coming down here. I don't know if I'm a Bulls fan initially, but I'm happy for the Kings. They're lighting the beam again. So
yeah, I'm into the Renaissance. It's been a while.
Well, when those Renaissance kick out the Warriors, I'll be happy. So that's fine. But no, cool, man. Sports writer, comedy writer. That's awesome. And you got involved with this project because you know Sean from Chicago, you said?
Yeah, business school of all places. Yeah, I didn't know he wanted to do film. I don't think he knew I wanted to do film.
No, we were both in a marketing class. I was running my big mouth, probably saying some way too inappropriate things. I was a bit older, obviously. I served in the Marine Corps prior to college, and I kind of saw school as everyone's overstressing something that's really not that big of a deal. Nobody's checking your GPA unless you're applying to Google or whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone seemed really tense because, they're going straight from high school to college. And I'm like, everybody just chill. It seemed to work on a lot of people. Somehow Kevin, who's put up with me this far as a friend, and yeah, we clicked. We ended up on a couple projects, and just our friendship blossomed from there. Neither one of us kind of knew that we were artists by trade, or by heart, I should say, more than anything. And then we just happened to reconnect when I moved back out to LA.
I do believe, though, we meet people at the right time. Even if we don't notice it, I think we meet each other, and then, like you guys said, like you didn't even know that you were both interested in the same thing.
Yep.
It happens, man. That to me, that's something divine. I'm not going to get into the the religious aspects of it. I'm just talking about literally, like, I do feel there's something that's connecting everything together in this world. So law of attraction, call it, is what I call it. But yeah, that's awesome. Sean, tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, I come from Chicago and its western suburbs. I spent a lot of time in between both, lived many different walks of life from the city, suburbs, and even the country. And, from there, I ended up going to serve in the Marine Corps, went to Afghanistan in Operation Enduring Freedom as an infantryman. Then eventually came back, went to junior college, then enrolled at DePaul University, where I did meet Kevin. I was majoring in marketing at the time. I didn't come from a family of super equitable means. So, they kind of push you into get a degree that'll get you a job sort of thing. Had hindsight being 2020 and knowing how much the arts had pulled to me, I probably would have ended up auditioning for their acting school. Whether or not I get in is one thing, but I've been very fortunate. Maybe it would have with the minimal amount of success I've had so far. But I ended up moving to New York shortly after college for my gig in advertising in the music industry, and then worked my way back to LA, where I wanted to be, and just happened to reach out to Kevin because we were friends on social media, and reconnected. And during a brief period of time in between auditions and everything else, I had this lull, and I was like, Kevin had been talking about this script that he had, like, like it's really nothing. And I'm like, I'm in a form of, I'm like, I gotta do something, I gotta do something. I'm an actor, and it's like, I gotta have my hands in something. I'm like, he's an artist, he's probably just shitting on himself for no reason, like we do. We're probably our harshest critics. And,
for sure. Yeah.
He's like, all right, fine. He finally begrudgingly handed it over, and I got 3 pages in. And I text him, "You motherfucker!" Right away, you just see a script that you can visually see, that you can feel, and there were certain characters that really resonated with me. And the comedies, it's brilliant. Kevin's very good at dialogue and setting up scenes and working through them. And as we have been doing now in the revision process, we've really seen those adjustments. He takes notes quite well.
Yeah.
He did point out early on there was a point, and when I got to that point, I'm like, okay, I see where you're trying to go.
Yeah, he hadn't read the second act yet. Underdeveloped.
When I got but the funny thing is, it got to that final. It was more the third act, I think, than anything.
Yeah.
But I got to that final section. I'm like, okay, I see where you sputtered here. I get it. Here's a few options. He took his own. He got his own ideas from that. He used some of them clearly based on what I saw. And the next revision was, bam, right then and there. And I told him, like, even after the first draft, I said, we have to do this.
Yeah.
Like, I felt very strongly about it, and I've dragged him in, whether he likes it or not. I think he's enjoying it so far.
Yes.
But that's what started off last year in February, and we're now moving forward, and a lot of success, a lot of interested talent, and like we said, we just hired our director and AD.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing, man. And you are part of this now because this podcast is going to be out. So now you can't back out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I will find you.
This is the best thing I got going right now. If I back out, I don't know where I'm at.
Oh, he's full of shit. It's the second best thing he's got going on. Because our big man is engaged.
Oh, that's
and he's
true.
married this year.
Man. I'm going to look bad for not saying that initially.
But yeah, he has a big year ahead of him, and it's been great to have him on as a co-producer with this, and really he's really jumped in, made edits, doing all the other things to help get this film brought to life.
That's great, man. Wonderful. So let's talk about the film. What is it about? Where is the inspiration from? What, you know?
Yeah, so the short premise is it's about two Catholic priests who go wine tasting in Napa Valley to pick out a new blood of Christ for their parish.
I'm already hooked.
It's not a faith film. It's a buddy comedy about two priests.
It's a buddy comedy that focuses a lot on identity and how that impacts us. And obviously, one of the big catalysts we see in the world is, in relation to people's identity is religion. And how sometimes that can take such a grip on people. Regardless of religion. So it's such a, and it really, with that short synopsis, it's that buddy cop feel. They go to this wine country. It becomes a wine drenched escapade, and just crazy amounts of things happen. And just it's that interconnection, and it also shows us about how much people matter and how to, take away our own personal bias and really evaluate things. Through clear lenses and understanding who we are as people each. So I think Kevin's done a really great job of making something that can connect with anyone, regardless of faith, no faith, whatever you believe or don't believe in.
Religion is not a barrier of any
right. So it's more of a metaphor, more so than because you imaginatively you can replace that.
Yeah, it's more about like existential crossroads. And,
right.
you can apply that to so many different situations.
I already have
these two guys are just priests. That's how it happens to be.
It's wild. It's intimate. It's that I think the one thing we've gotten from all the executives and people we've talked about, who we've been with, and the people that we've brought on, and even through our directing pool, is it's that warm blanket that we miss. There's so many comparisons. Sideways, Superbad, Napoleon Dynamite. It's such a mix of these feelings, and it's definitely something that we really feel is going to touch your hearts and bring back the art that we all love. Everything's been so commercial now, and so in some degrees not what audiences demand, and we want to give them something that it reminds you why we go to the theater. And I think Kevin's done such a beautiful job of making a script that, when done right, it's the reason you want to go to the movie theater, and then it's the reason you want to buy it later and sit down and watch it, or put on TNT or whatever channel it's on, and just do that, because like we did growing up watching Superbad.
Right. And I don't know if we grew up from watching Superbad, but
maybe like 7th grade on.
I grew down after watching that. I was like, I'm gonna do all of this. But yeah, that's an incredible premise. Interesting stuff. I like the play on words too. It's great. Who are some of your inspirations growing up in comedy?
Yeah. Oh God, there's a lot. Mike Judge is one for sure.
Okay.
Richard Linklater. It's like a philosophical approach to comedy.
Yeah.
Martin McDonagh, Edgar Wright. I mean,
That's
all of the big guys. More recently, I really like Greta Gerwig a lot too.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess growing up, I wasn't watching her. She's only, I don't know, a few years older than me, maybe.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's good. Sean, what about you?
One, I definitely have to say, you can definitely see the impact on what he's written with that.
Totally.
Like I said, he's so nuanced. It doesn't dumb it down for the audiences, and
he studied the game. Yeah.
He not only studied, he's put in the work to make it his own.
Exactly.
And that's the beautiful part about it. Like, I have a funny feeling after this, we're gonna find out what the taste is in Kevin Hickey's scripts, really. Moving forward, my inspirations come from everything. There's old Hollywood, like, if any actor doesn't say Marlon Brando, that's blasphemy to me. Greatest one to do it. And a kindred spirit in some degrees to myself. I did love. We'll take a Richard Linklater guy and Ethan Hawke, phenomenal. And I grew up loving comedy, as because obviously we're improv. So Robin Williams, being a Chicago guy, and being such a guy who could transcend both drama and comedy in such a way. Right now I'm really loving Lakeith Stanfield, and just especially actors who really go big and bold, Julia Roberts, people who really take chances with their work and really push the bounds what they can do with acting as a whole. Daniel Kaluuya is another great one. Everybody loves the internet's daddy and Pedro Pascal. He does great. I've loved him since Game of Thrones. It's really nice he's getting a bigger shot. And then One of the big ones too, I'd love to do some of the stuff Brendan Fraser did and is doing now because, I'm very happy for him.
Yeah.
And I got some additional inspiration seeing his comeback in Ke Huy Quan and watching, the great one with both drama and martial arts, Michelle Yeoh. So
Wow. Yeah.
it's so much fun. And also I get inspiration from all the other actors I've been fortunate enough to work with. They're so good, so talented, and a lot of high quality people who really care.
That's absolutely true. Anything you guys want to add about the director and the new hires that you guys have added to the film?
Yeah, I think it speaks a lot about our film and the interpersonal connections that we have. I met Connor through Identity School of Acting, a British acting school that has a base in Los Angeles that focuses more on film.
Yeah.
And we were in classes for about a year, 2 years together, and we really hit it off. Connor himself is doing phenomenal things. He one of his pictures is nominated for Best Cinematography at Cannes Shorts Festival.
Wow.
So he'll probably be heading to
That's pretty good.
he'll be heading to Cannes this year. He's also had
We'll have Connor on this on Fumble as well. So
yeah. He's also been selected to Beverly Hills Film Festival, Mammoth
Amazing.
Film Festival. He's really with a number of different films and shorts. So it's really been phenomenal. He's such a phenomenal actor, and to see him jump on this film was a real privilege for us during the interview process for our director. He was actually a part of that pool and actually recommended Colmcille Donston, our director, for it. We kept them both in the pool, and what they both brought, there was just so many questions that they answered and knocked off, and especially the way they've jumped in and do things. But a lot like us, they met at together at a certain place, and I think it's just like you said, people meeting at the right time.
Yeah.
They met at a program in Yale focusing on directors because Connor does it all. He acts, directs, writes. He's dances, a phenomenal, multi-talented creative, and they met during that, and it blossomed a friendship. And when he read our script, he said, "I think there's someone who could do this more in your essence, and more closely to Kevin's, to honor the writing." We said, Connor, I just said, Connor, we need that kind of humility.
Yeah.
We need the kind, and I know the diligence you have, and we kept them both in. And, Connor was like, "Look, I want to be a part of this." And I was like, what you're doing. And they came in so prepared, both of them. It was neck and neck the whole time. They just, in all honesty, just went ahead of the pack so far with their prep and everything they do. It gave us such confidence in getting this film done. And as they're moving, it gives us more confidence every day. But Colmcille himself, bludgeoning the East Coast with success through various film festivals such as the Boston Film Festival, Scout Film Festival. He, all these opportunities that they're nailing, and like I said, it was the way they came in. There's a creativeness and a professionalism that are so well paired in line and moving, and the fact that they understood what Kevin's trying to say, and I think that speaks a lot just about how we all feel about it. It's a friendship. It's as much as there is a business, there's this element of friendship and pushing forward and having that trust in each other that we're doing the right things, and we're creating the right environment to make this happen and be a healthy place. They're just, and as you'll have both Colmcille and Connor on for one, and I think you'll kind of get that seed, much like how Kevin and our friendship developed. I think it's very similar in theirs, that it just developed through that place, and we couldn't be more lucky, honestly, or I should say blessed, to have them, and they all very much relate. We all grew up in the general Christian background. Three of us grew up with the Catholic upbringing and everything, and have found our own ways through that, in our own ways in our quote unquote walk in life, and I think that's what we really identified with, and I think that's really what's resonating with people. Like we said, it's not a quote unquote Christian film or a religious film in any aspect. It just happens to have a big catalyst in. I think we all realize, like, religion's such a powerful tool. Like you said, as please do what you can to help the people in Iran going through all that. It's something that by the Grape of God team as a whole stands by. But we understand, how the powers of that can be. So how do we use that as a catalyst to tell just a story about identity? And like I said, Kevin's done a great job. it was lucky enough to rope us in such phenomenal talents. And it makes me feel like I have some sort of weird magic up my sleeve when I'm getting, pair of short films, best screenplay writer, paired with a guy who's going to Cannes Shorts for all this, and then the guy who's tearing up the East Coast and West Coast. I'm like, at this point, I just like, when am I going to miss? But and then that's getting cocky, and it's, but to
Little
have
humble brag hasn't hurt anybody.
oh, you never know, right? But to not only, it's the beautiful part about this is we don't have people who are just extraordinarily talented. We have people who are just, and I think Kevin can agree, like especially with who we've assembled, just high quality people,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
who really they come to this with empathy, and that's what art is about.
That's the word, yeah. And you mentioned earlier, you said it is a business, but we're trying to. There are friendships that have blossomed from this.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think that to me, and it's the overarching thing that I think there's a whole mental evolution taking place right now in the world, in business, in politics, in all forms of communication. It's the millennials and down. I feel like we're starting to realize. I think being kind is more important than having a good pitch or having like the perfect business pitch.
It's refreshing at this point.
It is. Yeah, because everyone is yearning for it. Everyone is in the world is just like sick and tired of the old method, the old school mentality of like, this person is higher than this person, so that person can talk however they want to that person. That shit doesn't fly anymore. Like if people are just like, okay, I'm not gonna fuck with you. I'll work with another person that wants to be kind and cares about being a good person. And there are a lot more of those people right now than there is the former, which was and we see the results of what's happened with people who use that method, right? It doesn't work in politics. It doesn't work in entertainment. It doesn't even work at a fucking corner store. You know what I mean? It doesn't work at any level. So just be a good person, because humankind, it's called humankind. So it's in it. It's in the word. But
yeah, agreed. And I think one of the big things about this film is it's like any film. It's deeply, and even sometimes not even super deeply flawed people, but flawed. We're all flawed people. And I think the one thing that we're trying to push out in the world is that kindness, that empathy to people, and understand, and trying to come to find ways and understand. And I do feel very proud of the millennial and seeing the young Gen Z come up and really make that mark and understand economies will move no matter what. Why can't we put kindness first? Why can't that be at the forefront of our decision making process? Because there's so many of these things out there in which we're seeing it not be done, and we've had enough of that as a collective society. And I think it's inspiring older generations as well, and it's a beautiful thing to have.
Absolutely. And I think work feels like work when that old system is in place. I think when you don't want to get up to go to work, like that feeling, that 9 to 5 job that you don't care
kind
for.
of feel limited going.
Yeah, because you're like it's killing my spirit.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I think that's where it's coming from. If you have a boss that's like that, that's like, all right, did you clock in? All right, do this, do that. And there's like nothing, like there's no stimulation of the mind. There's no like human touch to it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's causing all of this. And in America especially, right? There's so much, mental health is such a big issue right now, right? Throughout the country, but it's not just America, of course, it's all over the world. But I just look at videos of like, kids with nothing in Africa. They're smiling, they're loving life. They see people that come visit and they just want to hug them, and they're genuinely happy. Yeah. And I think about that. I'm like, what is that? What you know what I mean? What do they have?
What are we really after?
What are we really after? Yeah, because like America is coined as the best country in the world, right? I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying 90% of us lost our smile, right? It's just like, what happened that these kids with nothing, literally have no shoes on, because they don't have the money for it, but they're smiling and happy. Like, where does that come from? There is a switch there, and it's, to me, it's that's that magic that's there everyone should have that. I feel like, and we can, because we're talking about it. So
Yeah.
obviously it's possible. But you know, that mental evolution is changing, and empathy is to me is the biggest part of it. Is not assuming what other people are going through, but actually listening to them and just hearing them out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or not trying to pretend that you understand someone because you know one little detail.
There's
You know?
there's an infinite amount of lenses on living this life.
We're all nuanced. Everything is nuanced.
Everything is nuanced. And by the way,
Yeah.
you and I can go through the same exact ordeals and come out with completely different perspectives.
Yes.
So
yeah.
that's why it's important to listen and not assume, oh, well, I did that, right? My parents, they did that all the time. And that's old school, right? They're just like, why are you sad, Baba? I'm like, well, ask me why I'm sad and then listen to the answer. But, you know, it's, I love my parents, but, you know, but that's the shift that's happening now. And, you know, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that even generations after us are going to even be, because I have nieces that are young and they don't give a shit about, like, what color or what background their friends are. They just want to hang out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that purity, that's real, man. And we all had that at some point. Not saying we lost it, but we had it easily. Like we all had it as kids, you know? And it's like everything that I'm saying is that's taken over is taught. It's taught behavior either through people directly or through bad experiences or being jaded or whatever, you know? So
I agree. I think people are really taking the time to take a step back and breathe and not rush so quickly to these snap judgments and you know, hold themselves accountable for being judgmental. You know, we never really know what somebody's going through or what the actual context of situations are. And I just think that's important. You know, it's important, especially for myself as an actor. It's constantly having to put myself in the shoes of other people. Some of the most, if written down, whether or not they're actually historical figures or fantasy, they can be the, you know, if we take a judgment at them and not look at them as the character, like not try to, if I take a judgment at them, I can never embody them, even if they're by all means the most vile, you know, person or creature, whatever the character is, versus, you know, the people who we, you know, embolize as, you know, heroes, you know, like I think there was a great, you know, perspective from, you know, the late Chadwick Boseman with, you know, Black Panther, talking about how, you know, is T'Challa really the good guy? You know, is Killmonger really the bad guy? I mean, you know, in all reality, there's such great perspectives you can say, and you know, he dives into that about, you know, their upbringings and the differences in which inaction and action maybe justify each one, and you know, that's the perspective as an actor I have to take on, regardless of who I play, just because, you know, every character is flawed, and every character, and just like in life, we are all, you know, quote unquote main character, and we believe we're trying to, but I think the beauty about it is, you know, especially with the people we've assembled for this, is we got a lot of people with their hearts in the right places, and we're always willing to talk through things and work and be collaborative and, you know, try to just honor the goodness in people.
Well, you guys are you're feeding each other's spirits. That's why it's happening. Also, robots are taking over already. We don't need to become robots as humanity, right?
Like they're trying to replace writers now.
Oh my God!
Yeah. I don't think Chat GPT or whatever it's called could really take away the soul that Kevin put in this script.
They're trying to.
They're trying to, but you know, in the end, you know, it's just like what we've seen when they make movies and shows about this, is we'll always feel that real soul missing, and you know, I think that's something, and I think maybe that's what we're doing now, is putting a little bit more soul, you know, humanity back into these films. And you know, I really feel Kevin knows how strongly I feel about this script, and that's why I've dragged him hell or high water through this, and not too much dragging. He knows. No. I think he's just excited.
It's a good push.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Kevin knows if anyone's going to run through the walls and make this happen, it's going to be me. And you know, he knows I'm going to find those people who are also going to do that, but also be good people in the process.
Yes, it.
And that's all we want on set and in the production room. So, you know, I'm thrilled to be doing such a beautiful script that it is by the Grape of God.
It is. And you know, we'll keep you posted through the Fumble channel and of course their channel by the Grape of God. Continue following them for updates, and I cannot wait for this film to materialize, and I can't wait to see it on the big screen. Yeah, man. And I'm honored to know you guys now as a result, and you're stuck with me. So
I've been stuck with you since you joined the improv troupe.
there was a lot of ways I thought you were going to take that, but it wasn't that. I love it though. It's
well, don't
beautiful.
tempt me with a good time, man. But no, I think Kevin and I have both had really interesting journeys as artists. As I got into this from my teachers pushing me constantly into acting and just not having the ability to where I was from.
Mhm.
And then some coworkers at, when I was working in advertising telling me, hey, you seem like an artist, here's this school, and getting into identity. And eventually I met, my mentor from London, Sam Miller, who finally told me, hey, go pursue, like, you're ready, go pursue this to get paid.
Mhm.
Because he knew, I wanted to make art that moves people, that, I don't care if they ever cast me as Wolverine, like that doesn't matter to me. I love the character, but if it doesn't hit my soul, what's the point, right?
Right.
A paycheck's nice, and if I need it for rent, sure.
Yeah.
But I just want to make art that I feel touches me, because if it touches me, then I can reach out and maybe help that. It's so cliche, but it's what I grew up with. Having not very many friends and hiding away and diving into any form of entertainment, books, movies, television, anime, comics, music, you name it.
Yeah.
And I think the same goes for Kevin in that aspect. We like I said, I have great mentors like Sam Miller out there, and also now I'm at the Markland studio doing classes under John Markland. You might have heard of him because of Jeremy Allen White, who just won an Emmy. Congratulations to him. I haven't met him personally, but seems like a wonderful guy, and he did great work on The Bear. But then there's Kevin, who's literally going out there, and just the things that inspire him are just so deeply personal. That's why I can make those comparisons to the writers. He's too humble to do so. But if he knows anybody's going to make anybody, I like going around making everybody else cocky for themselves. I like putting that love into them and like reminding them of their talent. And I think Kevin knows one thing is I have an eye for talent.
Yeah.
So even though he won't take it, because artists are all bad at taking compliments, including myself.
Yep.
I saw what was there, and like I said, we've had that response. And Kevin, I don't know who mentored you or whatever, man, but Jesus Christ, man.
I guess I'll thank my time at Met Film School in London. Yeah. Spent a year for a master's program there, and just being around other aspiring writers and then established writers who were instructing us, it kind of helped me hone it.
You want to become great at something, you hang out with people who are great at it.
Yeah.
And that's how you get better, and you're the living example. So and by the way, first podcast in the books. You did it.
Man.
Nice. And he said you're a humble guy, and this episode, his podcast is called pHumblepodcast. PHUMBLE, by the way. That was the whole play on the words that I put in here. I think that's cocky of me to do that.
I always thought it was just be humble.
But that's the thing, because it's lowercase p. Yeah, it's an ongoing joke now with the whole podcast, because I literally woke up at 3 a.m. with the name, and then I was like, Fumble. I like sports.
Well, I mean, you got a little mini tour going on with your comedy right now.
No, for sure. Yeah. The comedy is going strong. Yeah, I'm lucky and blessed to have met my mentors and people in the comedy world and acting world to help me and connect me with the right people to continue to help me build on my funny man business. And it's been going well. Yeah, I'm at the time of this recording, it's April 1st, April Fool's Day. This isn't even happening, by the way. This whole thing
was all a joke.
It's a lie.
There's no movie.
It's all a joke on me. They were just like, early birthday present, Sean, fuck you.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, guys, like I believe you keep putting up your tour. I'm going to call it the mini tour because I can't wait for that Netflix special to come out.
Thank you, bro.
Whenever that finally does, I know, especially with watching your growth as a comic has been remarkable. I remember seeing a few of your jokes and just being like, hey, I see where you're going, throwing you an idea, and just even whether or not you took it or not, things just really moved, and you guys really should pay to check him out. He's you're gonna be in downtown tonight, right?
Yeah, I'll be at. Yeah, I'm Well, you wouldn't know because this is coming out after. But,
You had to be there.
yeah, you missed it already.
There's the fool's joke.
Go on my Instagram. I posted all of the dates that I have, and I'm still open for booking. So whoever I humbly speak, I would love to have more.
Humbly
opportunity.
speak, I should. There's your dad joke for the day.
There's the dad joke. He's not even a dad yet. I love it. Yeah. So this is it. That was episode 101. We're on our way to 200 now. So, we've started them. And enjoy April. Keep your eyes out for the Grape of God. By the way, if you can't see that, it says it's 5 o'clock mass somewhere. So that's that was a good play on words there. I like that. Just like Fumble Podcast.
I thought it was mostly because Kevin only listens to Jimmy Buffett.
Hey, Jimmy Buffett is great.
And then I'm sure we'll send over the tags for our social medias.
Yes.
It's By the Grape of God for the main one for our page. Mine is my Zat Sean, SZATSEAN. There is C Donston for Colmcille Donston, our director, and then OK Connor _ for Connor Austin Jones, our AD. We'd really love you to check it out. It's a film that has a lot of opportunities to have a lot of diversity in front and back of the camera, and we're really pushing for that hard. And we couldn't be more blessed to have the team around. And any way anyone wants to contribute, including through viewership, following us, anything, potentially investing, donating, all of that, we would love to have you guys. But we just hope that when the film comes out, you love it. And I tell Kevin, it's going to be very hard to do this wrong if we get the right actors in place, which those auditions are coming up soon themselves. And we're really looking forward to taking this by the horns and getting this guy out there so that people can see further what a talented writer he is.
Absolutely.
And also, like I said, I've been assembling talent, and it's fun. I think I've had the wonderful benefit, including you, Pej, is just so many people around me who are better than me, and that just elevates my own game and forces me to make sure I'm doing not just enough, but more than enough to make sure I'm covering my own butt.
Now you're being fumble, but you're no man. You're superb talent and good person, which comes before all of
Thank
that.
you.
So yes, give all those tags a follow. Give Fumble Podcast a follow. Subscribe on YouTube. Let's get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2023. That's a small goal I have. Share these episodes, and reach out, comment, I'm open to suggestions. That's the whole point of this. I want to always improve it. I'm enjoying the journey with this podcast, and I started in a small room over 2 years ago, and before you knew it, now I'm in someone else's house. You know what I mean? So it's like, you don't know, you just keep going after, one of my mentors, I'll finish on this. One of my mentors, David Thompson, great guy. He taught me something, and it goes like this. He's like, it's not about the how, it's always about the why. Like, your why is what's going to figure out the how. Because if your why is strong, and if you really focus on that, just like Sean and Kevin are focused on the Grape of God, this has had its hurdles, which we'll talk about later, right? Like getting through to this now refined version of the project. But their why had to be strong enough to get them here. You know what I mean? So and I think if there's one thing we take away from this podcast, if you didn't take anything else away, which you should have, but the why. Focus on your why. Because the why is really what makes us good people. It makes us go after what we really want to go after, and we don't become robots.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, thank you, Pej, for having us on. We hope you follow him.
Yes.
Additionally, please support the people of Iran. Let's put a little bit more kindness in the world and put ourselves behind them, the people in Ukraine, and really support those things that really matter. It's the human experience, and just treat each other with kindness. Isn't that what life's about?
Yes. Do it, or I'll find you. No,
No, he will. He does.
I found Sean, so no. But yeah, Fumble Podcast, Pej the Maniac. Thank you guys. This has been episode 101. We will catch you on 102.